Hi, the last time I spoke to you about an article by Gian Antonio Stella. Today I'd like to just touch on the matter of the perception of Italian Americans in Italy, or Italian American culture and Italian American culture in Italy. It is a sort of interesting phenomenon in many ways, because I think that on the one hand, one of the largest emigrations perhaps early on was from Italy. Italy, at the turn of the 20th century, lost something like a tenth, if not more, of its population just to North America, to the United States and North America. Yet it seems that the number of people who deal with the history of Italian Americans and the history of Italian American culture, the development of Italian American culture, whether it's literary, whether it's cinematic, whether it's theatrical, or performative in any other way, it gets very little attention. There are a few names. Stella, of course, is one I mentioned. There are some names that have come up in the past, people who've worked diligently and assiduously in this field. I can think of Emilio Franzina, professor in Verona. There's also Stefano Lucconi, professor from Florence. And there's also Maddalena Tirabassi, who has been with the Fondazione Giovanni Agnelli for a number of decades and has, for at least 3 decades, run the publication Altre Italie. So there are some people doing things, that have been doing things, and of course there are some newer names on the scene, such as Piero Bassetti. But within the academy, it seems that Italian American studies really is a sort of an ignored field, or unknown field, or ignored field. When we look at American studies, we really don't see a lot of work done on Italian Americans. Perhaps a little bit in cinema, because people look at American cinema, but in literature I think there's very little still done. History, as I mentioned, the names, much more has been done. So one of the things that we've tried to do, a couple of us here at Calandra, and also a couple of colleagues elsewhere, we joined with a publisher in Florence, Italy, called Franco Cesati Editori. And at the beginning of 2010, we will debut the book series called Americana, which is dedicated specifically at looking at Italian Americans, that is, studying the history, the culture, cultural productions of Italians in America. And the first 2 books are due out very early in 2010. One is a book published by yours truly, written by yours truly, called Una semiotica dell'etnicità, and another book is written by Emanuele Petener, who teaches at Florida Atlantic University, and it's on the novels of John Fante. So I'm hoping to be able to speak to you soon in 2010 about those 2 books when they're ready, and we can then further the conversation. So with that I say, I'll see you next time. Arrivederci alla prossima puntata.